everybody. Welcome today. Kyle Brink is trying to jump on, or we're having some internet issues where you can see that he's spinning in a circle, so he's trying his best to come on. So, he lives over there. So, he, if you guys know who Kyle Brinks is, he's like Connor. He's a book writer, just like Connor is. He wrote a book. I'll show you a picture of it. It's called Hibagon, Japanese Bigfoot. So he writes books, and hopefully we could get him on. Whoops. I'm pressing too many different buttons here. There we go. So we're trying to get him on, but the show must go on. So we'll do our best to get him on. But
now it feels like I'm getting disconnected.
Are you getting disconnected?
Yeah, it blinked out for a second, but yeah, if we can't connect to him this time, we will definitely reschedule the Hibagon episode, just because I'm super excited to hear about the Hibagon. Of course, I know about the Yeti and the Yeren, which is, I guess, a cousin of the Hibagon. The Hibagon is about a 5-foot tall wild man from Mount Hiba. And it's right near the Hiroshima area. So some people say it's a wild man. Some people say it's a weird ape or maybe bear. And then other people, which I love this one, it is a mutation from the World War II bomb that went off. So, pretty wild.
Yeah, let me see here. I'm trying to pull up.
Oh, I thought we could hear him for a second. I was like, oh my gosh, that's Kyle.
Yeah, so God, and I'm trying every trick in the book. I mean, there's only so much. Like I said, I don't know how the internet is where he's at. Is it strong? Is it good? Sometimes you need a good upload to be able to join a channel. Not to watch it. Watch it. All you need is a download. But to be on a show, you got to have a certain amount of upload. Oh, no, he's not. But so what I'm gonna do is let me. Hey Kyle, what I'm gonna try to do, Kyle, is I'm gonna kick you out from the chat and see if you could try re-jumping back on. So let me type in Kyle. Try to.
It's always sad to have technical difficulties. But all you Sasquatch fans out there, definitely go check out my interview yesterday with Chris Reinhardt, Discover Sasquatch. It was so awesome to chop it up with him. We had it set up for way before his surgery with his eye, and then he fell under the weather, and then boom, he had to have surgery, and he was out of commission for a while. Then he had a bunch of interviews aligned, and then finally it was set up perfectly, man, right after the Cowboy Joe passed and Carl Crew, which Carl Crew is related to Jerry Crew, the guy who named Bigfoot, which is super dope that we've mentioned him on this show and that I've been able to sit down with Carl on a round table.
This is what we'll do to try to get, while we try to get him on. This is Kyle Brink's YouTube channel, where he talks a lot about the Japanese Bigfoot. And what I'll do is, while we try to get him on, I'll just let me go with the videos. He's got a new one out called The Hibagon Case File: Boy Meets Beast.
Nice.
Well, downtown Fukuyama, it smells like iodine this morning. We have 4 or 5 hospitals and clinics around this block, and I wonder if one of them had an iodine accident. An iodine spill. Well, it's 2 more days until we're off to Mount Hiba with your generous help. We are equipped. Hey, we're better equipped than the university research teams who went up there 50 years ago. They didn't have infrared night vision trail cameras that you can set and leave for 6 months. They didn't have Google Maps. I'm not a big fan of Big G, but I appreciate their maps. They didn't have cameras with zooms like this. This was the moon over Fukuyama last night. 28th sighting today, 28th sighting of the Hibagon, the Japanese Bigfoot. Number 28. No, you haven't missed a couple of dozen sightings. Let me explain. As I've told you before, I don't throw in every sighting just sloppily reported by the press, because without identifiable features, like names and dates and locations, you risk repeating sightings. So unless there's something to pin them down, I can't admit them, which is sad and too bad. But with a topic like this one, we have to be as responsible as never mind that. We have to be more responsible than the corporate media. We have to do a better job. Well, I think I had every identifiable sighting in my book at the time of
I'm going to pause it just for a second because he says, I see you just fine on the computer, but not on my phone. So if you're trying to jump on the phone, try to jump on with your computer. I'll tell you what, if you can't get my email address or the StreamYard on your computer, I'm going to put it in the chat, and it's only for you. So Kyle, if you want to try to do it from your computer, here's the StreamYard in the chat. You can just click on it from the chat and jump on. So try it from a different device. It might be your device might not be able to handle the upload. So give that a shot, Kyle. And then we'll finish your video here and see if you can jump on.
I love his attitude on there. I can't wait to talk to him, man. He seems very intriguing and confident and full of information.
Yeah, I know. I really wanted to hear, like he said, he's saying it the right way. You know, we're doing it better than, the college. We're using the equipment that they weren't using. I love it because he's out there. I mean, this is just not somebody who wrote a book about Japanese Bigfoot. He's out there. I mean, he's and like I said, the internet over there is different than here. So it's hard to say exactly, what spot he's in, I can't tell you if it's his phone, if it's computer, if it's an internet issue. It's hard to say.
Definitely.
But we'll hear his video so people can hear some things about this.
Publication, 27 of them. This one has come out since. This is a new one, a new old one, an old new. We'll give it the number 28 and throw it in the mix. It's not dated, but from the eyewitness's name and age and other information, it is clearly a new, old, discrete sighting. It comes courtesy of the Fuji News Network. This is, yes, it's an organ of Fuji TV. Fuji TV, of course, brought us these revolutionary Hibagon Japanese Bigfoot cadaver photos. So grateful to Fuji TV for finding these and broadcasting them. I love you, Fuji TV. These photos were studied and confirmed to be genuine by an international panel of medical doctors, dentists, a veterinarian, and a primatologist, all approached and consulted by me, both in Canada and here in Japan. All right, the story. Kazutoshi Miyamoto was a boy when he had his encounter. He would be in his mid-60s now. He says here that he was in the 6th grade, so I guess 12 years old. He wanted to pick some wild mushrooms for his grandparents. That's what brought him into the forest. Now, our case 0, unofficial and unbelieved at the time, was a group of children mushroom picking in the forest. A group of children. Pretty sure this is not the same event because the way Kazutoshi tells it, he was alone, and the other details he gives are also different. So he's in the woods alone, young Kazutoshi, and he's headed toward a grove of Kumazasa bamboo where he thinks he can find some mushrooms when he sees someone else is already there. Someone who is all black from head to toe, 5'3" to 5'8". And Kazutoshi says that the head was wider at the top than at the bottom, and the creature's hair was standing up. It makes me wonder, when they described the head shape this way, how much is head and how much is hair? And Kazutoshi says that the creature looked very, very gotsu. Gotsu. You can translate this word rough, tough, or rugged. So the creature was very, very rough, tough, or rugged. Probably rough, tough, and rugged. Kazutoshi says he was frozen in fear, couldn't move his legs, and 50 years later, he says he still feels that same fear. Okay, well, good for you, Mr. Miyamoto, coming out with your sighting. That must have been very scary. You are not making me feel any braver about hiking into our mysterious solar calendar vertex all by myself, making me feel less brave, less gotsu, but gotta do it, gotta try. If you have the book, valued customer, there is space on page 97 after sighting number 27. You can write this one in, and then we'll all be up to date. Okay, I have to go buy about 4 pounds of batteries for our trail cams. And then later this afternoon, I have scheduled a nap because I'm going on the Gypsy Road show at midnight. Don't forget to comb your hair, Kyle. Okay, I'll see you at midnight. Link below to the FNN article. Also a link to a Shobara City tourism page. It'll take you straight to the Hibagon page, but look for the camera icon, and that'll help you see a lot more area attractions. And finally, a link to a video by the Saijo Town Tourism Association. You'll see some familiar faces and sights, and you can then click on their channel for more videos. Okay, I'll try to get back to you one more time before we leave town. Bye-bye.
I hope he does try to get back to us one more time. I've already shed 2 tears today. You know, that made me shed one, and then I just watched James Bond earlier. So, man, it's just an emotional morning. I wish he was here right now. He's got an awesome attitude. I can't wait to chop it up with him.
I know.
It's not the end of the road, you know. The Gypsy Road is eternal. So even if it doesn't happen today, we'll figure it out. But if you guys want to get your Hibagon, you know, quick fix in, go play Dragon Quest or watch Big Hero 6, the Disney movie, because they both have appearances in it. It's really funny.
And he does have my phone number. You could try calling me, and I could just play on the speaker if he wants. You know.
Try calling him, Kyle. Eric is the phone guy, so he can deal with the roaming.
You know, the phone's not bad when you have a speaker where I can just put it right here, and then yeah. I mean, that would work. I also have maybe here. Let me also. I want to give them my Kyle. If you can't call me because if it's considered long distance, go to my Facebook page, join my Messenger. Call me by Messenger on Facebook. Messenger is free. Doesn't matter what part of the country you're in. So I'll just keep taking a look on my Messenger to see if you do it that way, because I'm like with Connor. you got some great information. And if you look, let me see here. Let me pop this back in. I mean, your channel, you got a lot of good stuff here. Footprints in snow and Hibagon 2 days ago. Map update or not, Hibagon Japanese Bigfoot. I mean, your whole page is dedicated to the Japanese Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's honestly inspiring. And I, of course, saw those pictures on your news thing and circulating. And of course, I'm already rotating my head about TikTok. I'm like, oh, I'm going to bring, like, is the Hibagon real? And hopefully raise awareness. And man, those pictures are pretty cool. They're kind of goofy too. We've seen lots of corpse pictures and cadavers and strange, weird Bigfoots hung up in trees, but you got to think a couple of them might be authentic and a lot more are out there just under the covers in the shadows. But the Hibagon really reminds me of the skunk ape down here in Florida, also the Vietnam rock apes, the stump jumper, and then, of course, just juvenile Pacific Western Sasquatch, because this thing is a little bit different than, say, Patty. It definitely more resembles the Yeti and the Yeren, maybe four toes once in a while. But yeah, it would have to have some thick fur just to survive out there in the Japanese jungles.
Exactly. And I wrote some things about it in the description. Let me just find it here a second. Let me see here. The Hibagon or Hinagon is the Japanese equivalent of the North American Bigfoot or the Himalayan Yeti. Sightings have been reported since the 1970s around Mount Hiba in the Prefecture. The Hibagon is described as a black creature with white hands and large white feet, standing about 5 feet tall. So this ain't really, this is not your typical, what you think in America and Canada, you think of a 7 foot, 8 foot. Apparently over there, they're saying it's more around 5 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
And it's said to resemble a gorilla. The Hibagon has a large nose, large, deep, glaring eyes, and is covered with bristle. Theories to account for this cryptid range from gorilla, a wild man, or a deserter from the Japanese chefs, to an individual ravaged by atomic radiation from the nuclear attack on Hiroshima. That's interesting.
Yep.
That's it. I never even really thought about, putting the two together. A sighting from 1972 reports that the creature has a chocolate brown face and is covered with brown hair and have to keep deep, glaring eyes. In 2 reports by Mr. Sawaza and Mrs. Horada. Guys, I'm probably saying it wrong. I know I'm saying it wrong, so don't sue me. The creatures took no hostile action and fled from our armed residents, intent on hunting it. Now, yesterday you did an interview, and I heard you mention the word wild man. So,
yes.
So the wild man word is almost everywhere. So what's the wild man?
The wild man really ranges from feral people that have been maybe mutated or diseased, like the wolf children of Mexico, that they were covered in hair, so they ran off and lived on the fringe of society. And then it ranges to the Bigfoot, maybe some dog man, maybe some slender man, maybe the rake, really just any type of humanoid creature, but most likely Sasquatch in this predicament. And man, yeah, the wild man, the Ocheesee Pond wild man here in Florida, the Mogollon monsters, the Arizona wild man, and there's so many wild men over where you grew up in California and now where you live in Seattle. The Seattle Supersonics basketball team literally is the wild man.
He said he's actually trying to call, so
Awesome.
I got my phone right here, so
yes,
I'm ready. We're gonna try however we're gonna try. We're gonna try whatever it takes, right? So I am also checking Messenger just in case he does. I know sometimes on Facebook you gotta accept friends first. Oh, I hear the phone ringing.
sounds loud.
Hello, is this Kyle?
Yeah, this is Kyle.
Or let me put you on a. Hey, Connor, can you hear him pretty well?
Yes, I heard him at first.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. All right, perfect.
Okay.
Hey,
Hey, I'm so sorry about this trouble.
no, hey, listen. Technology. Now, if I'm correct, you're living in Japan, correct?
Yeah, I'm in Fukuyama, Hiroshima.
Wow, that's awesome. No, everybody in the chat, are you guys able to hear him pretty well? Because I got him right next to my speaker. Connor got the thumbs up. So Kyle, guys, this is how Kyle and I met. Just give you guys a little fast little thing. On my channel, let me go to my channel, guys, and I'll show you guys how we met. And I love this stuff, and this is the reason why, I kind of do stuff like this. If I'm just gonna go to my content here. I did a video 3 videos ago on breaking news, and one of my videos was a clip called the Hibagon Japanese Bigfoot. And I told him I was going to use it, and he said, yes, go for it. And we started talking, and I asked Kyle, you want to come on the show and kind of talk about it? And he said, yeah, not a problem. So beyond that, that's how we met. And that's why I do the breaking news, different video footages, try to reach out to different people and to expand the search of Bigfoot. Because, no offense, a lot of us in America, we talk about American Bigfoot, Canada, our neighbors. We don't talk a lot about Bigfoots in other countries. Yeah, we talked about the Yeti, but we hardly ever talked about the Japanese Bigfoot. So Kyle, in your research, pretend we didn't even talk about the Japanese Bigfoot in the beginning. What is the Japanese Bigfoot?
Okay, well, you can hear me fine now, eh?
Yes.
Okay, well, currently he's known by the name of Hibagon. Hibagon means the monster of Hiba, the monster of Mount Hiba, because there was a spate of sightings here that started about 50 years ago and lasted for 14 years. You can hear me still?
Yes. Oh yeah, we can hear you just fine. I got you right next to my speaker, so they can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. So I live in the area, and I'm from northern Ontario. That's also Bigfoot country, so I've always been interested in Bigfoot. And a couple of years ago, my sister came to visit here in Japan, and we were down by the coast, and Eric, I saw a sea monster. I saw a sea monster right off the coast.
That's awesome.
So that got me really interested in cryptids, and I knew that Hibagon was a local thing, so I looked into it, and I was just amazed by what I found. It goes back in Japanese records 500 years and more, 1,000 years.
Wow.
Was the sea monster a dragon-looking thing, or maybe like Nessie, or small like a mermaid?
The sea monster, I really only saw a hump, but it was a heck of a hump, and it doesn't match anything in the books.
100%. I've seen my fair share of humps in Ohio River and Lake Erie, so I know what you're talking about, man. There's definitely strange things.
Hibagon used to be called.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, let us know. We're here to learn.
Okay, so in Hiroshima here, the city, was founded by a man named Lord Terumoto Mori. Lord Terumoto Mori. He was basically the lord of the area, and he changed the name of one river on the border of the city. He changed it to the Enko River. Now, Enko was a created name. It didn't have any history before that, so it was created for some purpose. And let me tell you what the characters break down to, okay?
Okay.
These are the Japanese characters. If you just read it literally, it says, beastly, hairy beast, with long arms that watches and waits. Now, that doesn't sound like any known animal in the Japanese forest. Doesn't sound like a bear or a wild pig or a deer or anything else that I can think of. And it said that these animals, these beastly hairy beasts with long arms who watch and wait, they like to come across the river, Eric, and they would steal human women to carry away, and take men also for food. Now, some of these women would come back pregnant with hybrid babies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now that goes back 500 years. They were also called kawazaru. Kawazaru just translates simply to river monkeys. They were often called something or other monkeys because they resembled monkeys, but these ones were coming across the river and using the rivers to get into human habitations. Now, here's another name they used to call them, and this is from an area called Gifu. It's more in central Japan. They used to call them satori. Satori. Eric, have you ever, and Bigfoot Anon, have you ever heard of mind speak?
Yes, telepathy and just the ability to get inside our mind and communicate with us through more than just frequencies and voice.
Exactly. Well, listen to this. 500 years ago, the Japanese were talking about large, hairy, bipedal, monkey-looking type creatures who could read men's minds and know your thoughts before you even thought them.
Wow, that sounds just like the supersonics, you know?
That's kind of a parallel, isn't it?
1,000,000%.
Do you think that maybe even Bigfoot in America has that ability? That's why it's almost impossible to trying to actually, get a good picture, a good shot, because they know your thoughts, they know where you're at, because they can sense you. Do you think they all kind of have that ability, or is it more known with research in Japan?
Well, I really don't know, but a lot of witnesses talk about this mind speak, almost a telepathy sort of phenomenon where the Bigfoot is projecting words and sentences and ideas into the witness's head, and the witness can communicate back by thought.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know what to think about it, except that the Japanese were explaining the same thing.
That's special, man. I've heard it, down here in Florida, Kevin Saunders with Apalachicola Forest, and then Owlman talks about it, and there's other hundreds of encounters that people speak of mind speak. It goes a lot deeper than just our five senses, definitely. But you saying that when it goes into ancient history, that just confirms it. So that's some special information.
Yeah, it's the fact that the Japanese were describing the same thing 500 years ago, before Bigfoot was ever talked about, or before the Japanese had any contact with North America.
Mm-hmm.
The chances of that being just at random, I don't see it.
Not at all. Not at all. Do you know about the famous Hibagon sighting with all the school children? Yes.
Could
you tell the people about that?
Can you tell us about that?
And that's an unofficial sighting because the children were not believed. This was a group of children who were out mushroom picking in the mountains, and Hibagon, a small Bigfoot, just went crashing by the woods right through the area. So the kids ran home. They told their parents. Nobody believed them, which is sad. But just a short time after that, adults started reporting the same thing, and it couldn't really be denied anymore.
100%. So you definitely think these creatures are more like man hybrids than like these mutated beasts that some of those fun rumors talk about?
Well, if we just go by the witnesses and believe the witnesses, it seems that they can successfully breed with humans.
Mm-hmm.
So that would, and we have a cadaver. So both of those tell me that they're flesh and blood creatures and very close to man.
And do you know how that cadaver died and or even was discovered?
I beg your pardon?
How was that body discovered, and how did that creature die?
Okay, that's an excellent question. So, recently it was the 50th anniversary of the beginning of Hibagon sightings in this area. So Fuji Television, that's a major network here. That would be like your CBS or ABC in America. They came down here to do a retrospective on the Hibagon history. And they didn't expect to make any new discoveries or scoops. But while they were down here, somebody gave them those photos. Somebody had been sitting on those photos for 50 years, just not knowing what to do with them. Now, the information about the photos is pretty scanty. This is what is publicly known, okay? The body of the Hibagon was found, they said, in its usual area. Now, whatever that means, I have an idea what that means, but I have only my own idea. There was no word about what it died from.
That would be revolutionary if you could be the one to discover the skeleton. But that's awesome that it goes back that far. Those pictures looked recent to me, but the fact that they actually are pretty old, that's special. And the teeth look like kind of like horse teeth in the back, but I think that's kind of like how our molars actually would look. So yeah, it is definitely some type of human hybrid, kind of like Zana over in Russia, and then the Ochizipan Wildman that they captured here in Florida. So I definitely think, and as well as all the data has led me to conclude that they can, of course, mate with humans, and that's one of the main reasons why they kidnap people.
And guys, I'm showing pictures of what he sent me. He emailed me these pictures. So just wanted to show everybody that, what is it? We're having trouble streaming to Facebook. Oh, people, if you're watching this from Facebook, I guess StreamYard is having issues with Facebook. So sorry about that if you're on the Facebook side. So that's, yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. What's that picture? It's almost like, is that like a Circle C creature?
What you're showing there on the screen right now is from Europe. That's something I just use to remind people to be cautious when we're looking at illustrations, because that is a painting of an oyster, Eric.
Oh, okay.
That's a medieval painting of an oyster by an artist who was probably trying his best, but maybe never saw an oyster.
It's magical nonetheless.
When we look at paintings of Bigfoot or Hibagon, we have to really take into account that the artist who's painting it has probably never seen one. And he's using his imagination going off descriptions.
And then right here, this picture of this mask, is this what like witness have seen what it almost looks like right here?
Okay, what you're looking at there, that is an ancient Oni exorcism mask. Now, just like in America, Bigfoot are known by how many names do we have for them in English?
Hundreds.
Dozens, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the same way in Japan, in the different regions where communication between them and transportation was poor, they came up with their own names for these creatures because, well, before you encounter them, you don't have a name for them.
Right.
So they were known by many names, but I think the most standard name they were known by was Oni, and that is a Oni mask. Now, if you put that mask beside the close-up of the cadaver photo, the cadaver skull, there are so many points of comparison. It just looks like, well, it looks like the same thing to me.
Now,
there you go. Yeah.
Now, this other picture here, is this supposed to be the full body of a Japanese Bigfoot?
That's right. That's right. The two photos are the same subject. That's the body found by the farmers. And we don't have a date for that. But judging by the photo quality and the clothing that the farmer's wearing, I'm going to say 1990s.
And I love how you're evaluating it, looking at the photo, you know, how older it looks, trying to determine. Now, you also sent me two maps. Let me share the screen to the maps here. This is with the strong Bigfoot Hibagon traditions. So in the blue, in the light blue, baby blue color, is that where most of the sightings are at?
Okay, that's where the sightings and the stories, the ancient stories are at. So if you look at the blue spot that's down south, that's Hiroshima. That's where I am.
Okay.
And that's where we actually have the name of a river changed because of these creatures. And lots of traditions, and even now the modern Hibagon. Okay, that's the southern spot. Now, if you look at central Japan, there's kind of a. Oh, you changed the map. That's fine.
Oh no, I'll put it back on the other one.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. The central spot there, that's called Gifu. They have lots of Hibagon Bigfoot type traditions there. Going up from there on the west coast, that's called Niigata. There was a feudal lord there. His name was Bankinai, Lord Bankinai, about 300 years ago. And he was, in his part-time, he was a writer. And he wrote about these things. He called them satori. That's that word consciousness, like mind readers. And he said where they lived in his area. He named the names of two mountains, and that's where they lived.
That's awesome.
Did he say if they live in caves or if they trade? Did he have any really inside information?
Well, he's the Lord. He's the sovereign lord of that area, so he would have the best information.
Okay.
And he's not joking around. You know, he's a serious guy. He's got an army of his own.
Yeah, that's serious. When you got your own army, that's pretty serious. And then this next map, you have numbers on here. High rates, mysterious missing persons. Oh, so
yes, okay. If you look how they overlap, now these mysteriously missing persons, these are direct from the National Police Agency.
And they kind of match. Yeah, I see what you're saying. If you look at the previous page, you see the blue, and then if you go over to the missing persons, it's heavy in those blue spots.
It's like hand and glove.
Yes. That is good. Wow.
Isn't that amazing? If you look at the map right now, you see number 1.
Yep.
You see the number 1, yeah, that's called Nara. That place is called Nara. Okay, the rate of missing persons there, if you can believe it, this is 4 standard deviations above normal.
That's not good. That means a lot of people are being taken.
Yeah, that would be, if you're talking about IQ, I think that would be somebody with a 160 IQ. That's so far above the normal. Now, that area just also happens to be the area with the least habitable land.
Makes sense.
Japan, most of Japan is uninhabitable and even impenetrable. You can't even get into it. 73% of the land is uninhabitable.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
People cannot live there. Humans are confined to 27% of the land area.
Sounds like perfect territory for a wild man.
Outside of those safe zones, they get destroyed by tsunamis and landslides.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like
Japan is 73% uninhabitable.
Uninhabitable
That
to
area
humans.
of number
Yes.
one, uninhabitable by humans, exactly.
Yes.
But that prefecture number one there, with the highest rate of mysteriously missing persons, that area is 90% uninhabitable.
Wow.
So that means that would be a very preferable area for beings who don't want to live near humans.
100%. High rate of number of people going missing, small rate of habitable space. So clearly there's a lot going on right in the center. And then I think it just branches off to the rest of the island.
Now let me ask you, Kyle. Is this the reason why you're living in Japan? Because this is like your life. This is what you're loving to do. This is your research. This is your baby. Is this the reason why you're in Japan?
No, I just got into the Hibagon very recently. I came to Japan for work. I was a college teacher.
Okay.
And I just loved it here. And I met a particular lady that I married, so I made my home here. I love it here.
That's freaking awesome. And what does she think of you researching the Japanese Bigfoot? Is she like, does she think you're crazy, or is she backing you up? And she's like has a lot of history of this too. What's her involvement in the Bigfoot?
Well, she's my best supporter, and she believes it. She grew up here, and she remembers. She grew up just in the wake of the public sightings 50 years ago.
That's awesome.
She's always believed it all her life.
That's awesome.
And does she have any sisters, more importantly?
I'm sorry?
I was just joking around saying, does she have any sisters? I'm trying to join the family tree. It sounds like you're living my dream, brother.
She does have a sister. You come on over. I'll introduce you.
Oh, bro, everything happens for a reason.
So now you're actually we watched your last video on your channel, and you're talking about you're going up to do some even deep research. Is that the case? You're actually going to be going up to the areas that we're not supposed to, like you said, that man is not meant to be?
Yeah, since I found out about these photos that Fuji TV broadcast, I'm going up to Mount Hiba twice a year, spring and autumn. And I want to find evidence of these creatures. I have found stick structures, and if I can, I want to find that body.
Definitely. What are the stick structures looking like?
This weekend.
Oh, wow. And you're going to do some filming and, have it on some videos, footages for us?
Yeah, we're going to take lots of photos and take some videos, and we'll report back.
we would love to, after your big, huge research, and of course, after you post it on your channel, we will definitely love to have you back on too to hear further about this next venture that you're going on, because it just sounds so freaking awesome.
Well, I'd love to be back on. And listen, we're going to be careful because we have 2 missing persons right off of Mount Hiba.
Oh, wow.
Two men just vanished completely off that mountain.
Do you guys go armed?
Do you protect yourself when you go? Do you protect yourself when you go? Do you have any protection?
Oh, I wish. I used to be an old varmint hunter, but we aren't really allowed to have guns here.
Okay.
So I'm going to carry pepper spray.
Why not?
And I have my wife's grandfather's old naval sword. I'm going to carry.
Nice. What shape are these structures? I'd like to know, just see if they correlate with, what's going on over here in America.
Yeah, I found TP type structures that made out of 4 or 5 sticks, and the core stick is always it has a Y-shaped branch that the other sticks fit into and around.
Uh-huh. What about tree bends?
Where you just have sort of a Y-shaped stick stuck in the ground and another stick leaned into that Y branch.
Nice.
Let me ask you a question. I just put your YouTube.
Yeah, I've shared those photos with some guys in Australia who are out researching the Yowie.
Yep.
And the word they said is identical. These stick structures are identical to what they're finding.
That definitely sounds like what we're finding here. Are you finding any tree bends or anything on the ground glyphs?
Oh, yeah. No, we can hear you just fine.
Uh-oh. I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? Oh, hold on. Oh, can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. Okay.
That was my fault. When I was putting your link to your YouTube channel in the chat, I accidentally hit the mute button. So I just want to show people.
Thank you.
So everybody in the chat, if you want to learn more about the Japanese Bigfoot, this is his YouTube page, and you can see that he's got a lot of videos on this. And what I love about it is this is a passion for you. This is not something that you just one day say, I want to prove. This sounds like, to me, it's a passion. You saw pictures, you saw evidence, you're looking at pictures, you're looking at where it came from, and you also are looking up the history. I mean, you're going back with us 500 years. You're looking for the origin of this story, and I never heard about the hybrid and all that, so I have learned so much from you just today. And of course, we all wish that we could get you on a regular StreamYard, but hey, whatever it takes, right? Whatever gets you on.
Hey, this is better than nothing. This is great. I'm having a good time.
We are too, man. We are too. We love the information.
Now,
yeah, the Hibagon even goes back 1,000 years, and there were several different emperors who sent out generals over armies on demon extermination campaigns in the mountains.
Wow.
Now that demon, the word that they use here is oni. Oni comes from the root word to hide. So these are beings, flesh and blood beings in the mountains who hide. They excel at hiding. And when they make too much trouble killing people or abducting women, different emperors at different times sent their armies out to smoke these onis out and kill them. So they're not talking about spiritual entities because they're going after them with swords.
Yep.
oh, wow.
Smoking them out of caves. Yeah, and these reports go back 1,000 This is actual history, and it goes back 1,000 years.
And it probably goes back further that, people weren't researching further back. So this probably been going on for even thousands of years.
I'm sure it goes back as long as humans and these things have been living together here.
Let me ask you this: since you've been studying the Japanese Bigfoot, have you also been studying like the American and Canadian Bigfoot, trying to find, relations to different, countries of Bigfoots? Have you been looking elsewhere too to compare your findings?
Yeah, I concentrate on Japan because I seem to be the only person really studying the Hibagon seriously here. So I think that's the best use of my time and efforts. But of course, I'm always interested and always studying the North American Bigfoot too. I'm convinced they are the same thing.
I actually wanted to ask you that because since you're in another country and you see different cultures, is there a difference of there's percentages of Americans and Canadians that want to research. They're all, there's different communities, there's different YouTube channels, there's social media on this. Do you kind of see that? Is that less in Japan? Do they not care as much as we do in America? Or what's the culture like with their folklore of the Bigfoot?
Yeah, it's really non-existent. It's basically all shoved into the supernatural space. So they do believe in these beings, but they believe in them as supernatural. So there isn't really any interest or effort to go out into the woods and find them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different way of thinking about them.
Well, okay, I'm sorry.
What other supernatural things are in your area that kind of resemble the Sasquatch? Is there dogmen sightings? Is there other, creepy crawlers out there?
Yeah, Japan does have a lot of legendary creatures, and some of them may be more legendary than others. But I believe these Hibagon are very, very real and very dangerous. And one of the reasons I'm so interested is because I have 2 young children, and we're outdoorsy. We like to go camping and hiking. So I want to know what the dangers are.
Makes sense.
I think it's foolhardy to go out and not even know. And when you read about some of the cases of missing people, it's absolutely heartbreaking and uncanny.
Have you heard anything about the missing 411 or Steve Stockton's work about missing people?
Yes. I follow the missing 411 in North America.
And clearly it's going on over there as well.
Yes, it is. And I've found a couple of patterns that I'd like people in North America to look into.
Yeah, what is it?
And this is again, I'm going with the National Police Agency cases. This is cases that stump the police. Okay, 2 points I find. Overwhelmingly, people disappear in the countryside when the sky is overcast and when whenever it's possible to know, the wind is blowing toward the forest.
That's good to know.
So they're not disappearing from the cities where all the crime is, but they're disappearing from the countryside on overcast days when the wind is blowing toward the forest. Now, the only time that wind rule seems to be relaxed is when it's raining. So if it's raining at the time of the disappearance, wind direction doesn't matter.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think they can control the weather, or do they just plan around it?
I'm sorry?
Do you think they? Hold on. I'll have them repeat it.
Do you think they can control the weather, or do they just plan around it?
I think they plan around it. Yeah, I think they know what weather's coming. Very often rain follows a disappearance, which would make tracking impossible.
Yep.
And get this, nobody disappears when there's heavy snow on the ground.
Oh, really?
Not in these National Police Agency cases, no.
That is interesting.
So, yeah, and you read case after case after case after case where all of these lines point to the same culprit with the same MO, and it doesn't seem to be a human culprit. And then we have stories from 500 and 1,000 years ago of these beings stealing people, stealing children, taking men, even for food. And it just seems to be still going on.
Have you came across any positive stories of them maybe healing the forest or saving someone in distress?
Yes. Yes, I have. Do you know where Tokyo is? Present-day Tokyo?
Not on geography, but I'm familiar with the city for sure.
Okay, right across Tokyo Bay, there's the big city of Yokohama. And hundreds of years ago, the lord of that area, again, this is a feudal lord. He's semi-independent. He answers only to the shogun and the emperor, but he's the lord of his area. He actually had a law forbidding his people from starting any trouble with the local Hibagon. He used a different word, but the same type of creature, because they had good relations at that time. And so he forbade his people from starting trouble with them. They actually had a trading relationship.
Huh. Wow. I wonder what they were trading.
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of things they trade.
Well, I can tell you. So, I believe they called them the Yamabito, the mountain people. And they lived way back in the inaccessible mountains. Many times people tried to follow them, but the where they lived was so wild and remote, people couldn't get back there. And it said they lived in a village. I don't know what that means, but they caught freshwater fish from the mountain streams, carried them down to the human towns, and traded fish for rice.
Wow.
That is
Did they make pottery or any weapons and trade those as well? Did they make pottery or weapons as well?
Bigfoot Anon.
Okay, I'll bring you closer to the speaker. Here he is.
Hey man, did they make weapons and pottery to trade as well?
No, I haven't heard that, but coming up in the sightings that I'm listing, I won't say yet, but sighting number 27, the Hibagon was seen carrying something in his hand. It'll shock you. It'll change the way you think about Bigfoot. So stay tuned for sighting number 27.
Oh man.
Does it rhyme with fun?
No, that's great. It's man, they should make a statue of you because you're doing the research for them. I mean, that's awesome. Are you still teaching at the college over there, or you're just retiring and looking for the Japanese Bigfoot?
No, I'm in business for myself now. I have my own school here.
Do you,
and I don't make any money chasing the Hibagon, but it's sure something that I love to do.
does your students, do they get to hear some of these stories? Are you inspiring them to go out and research this kind of stuff themselves? Any kind of folklore story, not just the Bigfoot, but are they encouraged by you to look into these folklore stories in Japan? Because I'm sure there's a lot of them.
Some of them will. Some of them get into it. Some of them will help me.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And we recently. Oh, I should tell you this. On Saturday, I'm going to meet the ape clerk, the original ape clerk, Mr. Eggy. You know
Interesting.
That's
no.
Most of us in the chat were like, "Who's that?" So yeah, tell us, who is it?
Okay, so 50 years ago, there was this rash of sightings, and around this small town and around Mount Hiba, people were calling in, and pretty soon newspapers all over Japan were calling. University research teams were coming down here. And so City Hall decided to open the ape department, and they asked one young man to head up that department and sort of coordinate all the ape activity. They called him the ape clerk, Mr. Eggy. Well, he's still alive. He's in his late 70s, and he has invited my family to visit him at his house. So we're going there on Saturday. And we're going to have a good talk about the Hibagon and pick his brain.
Wow.
That's special, man, that you've already made so much ground in this industry, and you're speaking to the top dog right there. I can't wait to hear you report back, brother.
Yeah, he is Mr. Hibagon.
That is great.
He's a Hibagon liaison.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. You know, I never even heard of this until I was just going through channels or going through a YouTube channel, and I just somehow ran into yours like, what's the Hibagon Japanese Bigfoot? And I've just having you on today, I've just learned so much, even with the short time, even with the technical difficulties that we had, but playing your video, seeing your passion, and you speak so well. It's very easy to understand on you explaining everything to us.
Oh, that's very kind of you, and I really appreciate this opportunity so much.
That is awesome.
Yeah, Mr. Eggy's a hero.
That's great. And when you got to let us know that when you're done investigating with them, researching with them, and let us know that when you're ready to come back on to give us the further report with all of this, let me know, and
I sure will.
We'll put on a weekend, and then we'll work out the kinks and try to see if we can get you one of our squares on our screen. We'll work it out. I should add. I haven't done it yet. I should add the telephone to the computer. I haven't done that yet. I should. I always like people coming on the screen myself because it feels more personal over the phone. But we'll work out those kinks. We'll get that worked out because I don't want to speak for Connor. I'll let him do his last words. But thank you for jumping on and giving us so much information. But here's Connor.
Yes, dude. Thank you so much. A lot of your information correlates with my research down here in Florida. The Florida skunk ape definitely is a little bit smaller in most cases than, say, the California patty type Sasquatch. So the Hibagon is definitely up my alley. It's like the Vietnam rock ape or the stump jumper. So, man, definitely keep in touch. I look forward to hearing more about the Hibagon and just diving into it just a short amount of time, man. It's super interesting. And the fact that you're on the ground floor and, making ground is really cool. It's an honor to talk to you. And I know everybody here in chat is super excited, and it's going to really inspire something, at least here in this underground community. of America. But man, those cadaver pictures are special, and I'm going to share them as much as I can as well. And you're definitely going to be one of my pinpoints that I'm going to mention now with my presentations.
And people, he does have a book out, and he does have a book. You can actually get it right there on Amazon. The book is called The Hibagon Japanese Bigfoot. You can't get more simple the title than that. So that's awesome. And you're sharing what you're learning through books, social media. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you so much, guys. I've had a great time.
All right.
Let's keep talking and keep sharing.
Yeah, and I appreciate you sending me your book. That's an honor to get a book from you. That's awesome. So, all right, I'm going to let you go, and then we'll keep in touch, and we'll do a follow-up show.
Okay, thanks, guys, and thanks everybody for watching and listening.
All right, I'll talk to you later, Kyle. Bye.
Thank you, Kyle.
Bye.
And hey, guys, that was awesome. We wanted them on the screen, but hey, with difficulties, doesn't matter. We made it work. It teaches me that maybe I do need to set up a phone number with the channel itself. People told me I should, but I didn't want to do that because I always like to be more personal with guests.
For sure.
I like them coming on. I feel more better that way than over a phone, but hey, we got them on. And first of all, guys, let me tell you guys, tomorrow's Veterans Day. So if you guys know any veterans out there, let them know. Tell them thank you. I'm a veteran myself. People volunteer themselves. And tomorrow's a special day for veterans. There's a lot of things that veterans had to do they didn't want to do. Sometimes, even if you're against the government, we're just doing our job. The government tells us to do something, we got to go do it. Right or wrong, that's life. But if you see a veteran, man, thank them. That's tomorrow. And guys, I'm just letting you guys know that I'm working with Connor that sometime in December, I'm thinking December 4th, I'm going to try to do a 24-hour Bigfoot marathon. Bigfoot marathon. What does that mean? Well, it means I'm going to take videos from my own channel, Connor's channel, from our friends, and put it together in a 24-hour block. And during that 24 hours, myself, Connor will jump in different times during the day. I just gave him permission to jump into my StreamYard to create some live shows during the 24-hour marathon. I thought, what the hell? I want information for everybody to know these different channels out there. I'm talking about like showing Long Island Bigfoot stuff, showing the Squatching Cowboy, Flatfoot Boogers channel, the Sea Squatchers. Not all channels are going to give us permission, give me permission, because some channels, they got to be exclusive. But I want everybody to know all these communities. So I'm going to be putting together a 24-hour marathon December 4th. That's my goal. It gives me time to work on it. And you got anything to plug in, Bigfoot, before we go?
Yeah, of course, check out, Zillafoot, buy my books, Eerie Swamps. We're live on TikTok right now, so what's up? But I also am just super excited about this weekend, man. We're going to Myakka for Stacy Brown's camp out, so I'm going to be arm in arm with a bunch of people. I'm super excited to check out the Crawley Museum again. My expedition a few weeks ago there led us with some grunts and some splashes. James Brost actually got like black figure going across the back. So, man, we're going to be looking for Brian Laundrie and the Skunk Ape. And, man, it's going to be so awesome being around the campfire with some Floridians. And Tristan got a free ticket for Marie Dumont, so thank you so much. He actually almost cut his thumb off yesterday, and I saw the text this morning. And luckily he's still going to be there. So I'm so excited. And check out, my Discover Sasquatch interview from last night. Had a really good time with Chris Reinhardt. Looking forward to the future. Vic Cundiff and I just did a interview, and he got a new Bigfoot channel coming out, so I'm going to be on there, and it's really cool. It's big time, man. And Eric, you should definitely check out Vic Cundiff's work. He's with Dogman Encounters and then My Sasquatch Sighting. So, of course, My Sasquatch Sighting shaped me, and that was my first line, but it's revolutionary times.
That's what we're here for, to share information to different channels. That's the idea of the marathon I want to put together. And guys, I put my email address. If you want to be part of the 24-hour marathon, you want to be interviewed, you want to put in slots. I'm going to try to build slots where I'll be jumping on. Somebody else be jumping on. I'll be showing videos from Brink Books. He wrote, thanks, Gypsy Road and Bigfoot Anon. Had a great time. Honored to be on. No, it's an honor to have you on. It's, sometimes we talk about the same thing over and over, and it's so nice to throw in something that we don't really talk about. And you gave us something new to talk about, something new to research. And I never thought about the missing people in Japan with missing 411. That was an awesome connection. So thank you. And beyond that, guys, I guess I have to go to work and, slave to the grind, whatever it's called. And I want to thank you guys for all joining us and share this channel to everybody about it. And then, hey, you heard Connor. He's going to be jumping another channel. Jump on that channel. Say hello. Say, hey, let's all support each other on different channels. There's an interview. Jump on there. Connor put in his community bar that he was on this other channel. I jumped on yesterday. Like, holy shit. And I love when Connor's on another channel because the other people can't even catch a breath. They don't know what's hitting them when Connor comes on. And I love it. It's like, I love it because Connor's energy is so there and he shoots so much information at you. You better listen because you could be missing a lot.
Look what's going on outside my window. I heard a bunch of people. So I was hiding my freaking weed. And the police and the ambulance are out there. Gosh, someone's walking in.
Well, I better let you go so you can deal with that. And then
No, I'm not dealing with it. I'm hiding out, dude. I didn't do anything wrong. I've been out here the last 2 hours. What the heck?
Well, guys, I got to get going to work. I'll see everybody later.
Peace out.